I equals 7, then I want to break from this loop. Simply you don't want to print 7. In that case, you can write continue here. Return is used if you want your function to give you some value. You don't really know what this function will look like now, and you will figure it out later. You can just write here pass. Hello coders, welcome to my channel. I'm David, your guide to mastering programming. Today, we are talking about control flow elements in Python, like break, continue, return, and pass. I'm also going to show you a secret use case for else that hardly anyone knows about, but it's super useful. So stay tuned and let's dive into everything you need to know about this topic. First control flow element is break. Break is used to completely exit the current loop. So for example, if I have a loop for I in range, this loop will print all the elements from 1 until 10. Now I will print I. But before that, I want to check if I equals 7. If I equals 7, then I want to break from this loop, which means I want to exit this whole loop. Now, when I run this code, as you can see, all the elements until 7 are printed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are printed. Now I will show you a secret use case of else that I promised before. When you write else after the for loop or while loop, it doesn't matter, this checks if this for loop completed without breaking, which means if this break was never triggered. If that's the case, we will enter this else scope and, for example, print no break. I will remove this code, and here, as you can see, all the elements from 1 until 10 are printed, and no break is printed as well. But if I return the code from before and run it, as you can see, it just prints the elements from 1 until 6 because we entered this break, we used it, so we won't enter this else. Second control flow element is continue. Continue is used if you want to skip the rest of the code and move on to the next iteration. What I mean by that is, for example, you don't want to break after 7, but simply you don't want to print the 7. In that case, you can write now all the elements from 1 until 10 will be printed except 7. As you can see, all the elements are printed except 7. There is no 7 here. The third control flow element is return. Return is used if you want your function to give you some value. I mean, return some value for you. You've already seen it before. When I write a function like this, def add, and now we have two elements, a and b, and I want to return the value that those two elements, when I want to return the value when they are added. For example, a plus b. Now when I can print add 1 and 2. As you can see, 3. When this line of code is entered, all the rest of the code from this function will be skipped. For example, if I write here print a comma b, this won't be printed. Not only it won't be printed, it will be yellow. Because PyCharm wants to indicate to you that this will never be entered. The fourth control flow element is pass. Pass simply means that you don't want to do anything. It's used just for cleaner code or when you want to write an empty function or class that you will code later. For example, you want a function that's called check winner, but you don't really know what this function will look like now, and you will figure it out later. You can just write here pass. As you can see, that function exists, but it doesn't do anything. It's just for a cleaner code. I hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe for more coding content. See you in my next video. Until then, keep coding.